Hello and welcome to Copperhead Road Homestead. We're going to work on the trench here in just a second, but before we do that, we're going to take a walk. Glad you're here. Keep watching. All right, so I'm here at the hardware store. I've got the pipe in here, and I've got my fittings that I need. It costs about $200, but that's going to be $200 that's going to be worth savings. I want to have water where I need it, and I might have gotten one section more than I needed, or more pipe than I needed, and more of the stuff, the fittings than I needed. But again, if you can save a little bit of time and hassle, and this is infrastructure and you only have to pay it once, you're gonna have water all the way across this field ultimately, then it's gonna be a wonderful thing. We'll get this home, show you what we're doing. All right, so I'm home. I've got to come down here to the well house and turn the water off to the house because this goes over to our house and Chad's house and Grandpa's house. And then I'm gonna have to come down here and cut this pipe. I'm gonna put this T on there, right here, and then put this valve on here, right here, and then I can turn the water back on so we can have water back in the house. So all that should only take me 15 minutes or so, and then I can start working on the rest and get these pipes glued together and then get the buckets in the ground. I think I can get all this finished today, maybe even get it partially covered up. I'm not gonna be able to film all of it, but I'll show you what I've done afterward. Again, all I'm gonna do is cut this pipe right here. This is the access of the water to our house and from the well, and then I can put this valve on there after I put the T. And this is one of those slip-on T's right here. So you unscrew this and slip it on there and then tighten it back up, and then I can put the T on there and get it the way I need to, so I can turn the water off and do the rest, and then get the water back onto the house. I'll show you when I'm done. I will go ahead and show you this in case you're unfamiliar with what the inside of a well looks like. This right here is the pressure tank. That's the big thing right here. That makes sure that you have kind of consistent pressure. Here is the right here is where the power goes into the pump, and the pump is down in the well, and our well is around 170 feet, I believe. Here is we've got 3 valves. Let's see, what are they to? I'm not actually sure right now. There's 3 valves. This valve is to the pressure tank, so we can replace the pressure tank. We've had to replace the pressure tank once since we've had it, and it was still under warranty, so they gave it to us for free. This red one right here, down on the ground that I'm pointing at, is to our house, everything up north of it. And this other one is to Nana and Papa's house, everything south of it. So I'm gonna turn it off right here, and then we'll cut it, and it's gonna gush for a second. I might be able to get a little bit of footage of that, and then I'll have to turn, do what I need to do, and then I can turn it back on. But pressure tank, valve, here is a pressure gauge. See that pressure gauge right there? And we also have a heater in there for in the wintertime. Toby sees a toad. We have a heater in here that's on a thermostat, so it won't freeze. We've had it freeze in here before our first year, but we've got this heater and it just stays in here on that thermostat, so in the wintertime it'll come on automatically. We'll test it every year to make sure, and then it covers up by this. We're wanting at some point to put a permanent well house over it, because it's nicer, but anyway, next step. Okay, so right here behind me is the pipe. These are PVC cutters. PVC is a whole lot cheaper than PEX. PEX is easier in some ways, but PVC is cheaper. And then I'm gonna cut with these, and you'll see it gush here in just a second, so just stand by. So it didn't gush too much, but it is letting all that water that's in the pipes out. And it's gonna make it wet in here to work, but that's okay. I'll work from a little bit higher. I'm gonna cut just a little bit more, out of this so I can get this moved in the way I want to. All this water that's flowing out right here is the water from the house and all the pipes that way. It's just flowing with gravity there. There's actually probably still water in this pipe right here from the well, but it's not gonna push it out because there's no pressure on it. and the well is lower than this point, so gravity's not pulling it out. So that's why all this water, and there'll be air in the lines afterward. So when we turn the water on, it will, first blow out air a little bit. Okay, so I've got, this is an elbow right here. I've got it glued and all that ready to go. This is the valve that I can turn it off and I can get water back going to the house. And I'm gonna put this to the T that I just got on there, and but I'm gonna get this in the hole first. So if you wanna take a look, that's fine. Then I can, after I get this glued and put in there, I've got to glue it one more spot. After I get that done, then I can wait just a few minutes and then turn the water back on. So this all in all only took probably about 15 minutes or so. Will take about 15 minutes or so to get it, water turned off and turned back on. So just stand by. This is cleaner. This is PVC cleaner. I'm putting it on there first, and then we'll put the glue on there. Again, then I can let it dry, and I can turn it back on. All right, just wait now. All right, I got the water turned back on, and we're not leaking. So that's a success. Done this before, things like this before, and it has leaked and spewed. So the next step is to go ahead and get some of these others glued together, get them in the hole, and then I can start covering it up, and I can make a couple of the buckets that will let me keep the water in the ground below the frost level. And I can use those in the wintertime and the summertime, and I can have water all along through here. I've got it glued from here at the very beginning. You can see it in the trench there, all the way to the end. Now the next step is to cut it here where I want the spigots to be. I'm gonna put one over here next to the trampoline because the kids like to play in the water on trampoline. We have an abundance of water here. Some people don't. We're very blessed. We have plenty of water here, and it just goes back into the ground afterward. So they like to play in the water over here by the trampoline, and then right at the very end. I was thinking about doing one here at the very beginning, but it's not too far from the well house, so I'm just gonna go ahead and leave it here. If I want to later, I can always dig it up and do it again. But for now, I'm just gonna put 2 buckets in, and this is 200 foot of pipe. There's a little bit left at the very, very end. It's sticking out of the hole there, so it's probably closer to, I don't know, 190 feet. But from over here to over there, about 190 feet, and we're gonna go much, much more all the way across the field, and then maybe even back to the front end of the field. So it's within 50 foot, 100 foot from each other. You can put a spigot every time. But I'll show you here in a second what I'm gonna do when I cut it. But still, it looks like there's no leaks down here. There's water down here. I can start covering this up. I might go get the tractor here in a second and start covering it up, so we can just be finished with this and we can get back to our normal normal life without all this dirt and stuff sitting around. Even though the kids seem to be enjoying it. Do you see them? All right, I'll go do the next step. I'll show you. So here is the end of the section. You see how much is sticking out. So I got 20 foot sections, all with bells on the end with flanges, and this is what's left. So it's about 190 feet, I would say. It's about 190 feet, I would say. So I'm gonna cut this off here, and I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna do. I've got, so I can go ahead and turn it back on. I've got a cap to put on the end, and then I've got the other pieces that I need. So I'll show you what I'm gonna do, and then if you like things like this, you can make sure to like and subscribe. Comment below if you've ever done any plumbing. Doing some of your own plumbing and stuff like this on the farm and the homestead really ends up saving you a lot of money. You can't call someone every time. You can't call a vet every time. You can't call people to do a lot of the work. You kind of have to learn how to do some of these things yourself if you want to not spend all your money on the farm. At least that's been our experience. So let me know if you have any other experiences. Simple plumbing, not a big deal. You can do it. Anyone can do it. It's not rocket science. Some things are a little bit more difficult than others, but this is just running water over here. It can be done. And then if you mess up, Papa always says that carpenters and plumbers and whatnot, no offense if you're a carpenter or plumber out there, but they're like cats. So they make a mess and they cover it up. So you make all sorts of mistakes, even professionals do, and then you fix it afterwards. So you can do the same thing on the homestead as well. So the first thing that you've got to do, I don't need all of this over here. I'm gonna cut the excess that I don't need off. And these are my cutters here. So I'm just going to cut it right here. You've already seen them in action once. Ooh. There we go. And this is what's left over. Maybe a little bit more than 10 foot, but it's around 190 foot from the beginning to the end here. This is a cleaner. You clean it first. I'm cleaning at both ends because I'm gonna put a cap on one end. And I'm gonna put the other end in the T. So it's easy as that, really. Just sticking it together. I put the glue on there, and you twist it a little bit when you do that. Easy. And I'll go ahead and put the cap on here. I need to clean the cap. I figure you can't clean it too much, so I just clean it double sometimes. So some people, their problem isn't that they can't do it, because I'm pretty sure just about anybody can do these things. They just lack the confidence to do it. And I've been there, I lack the confidence as well, but you gotta live under the mantra that if you make a mistake, then you can just fix it in a little while. If you have to call the professionals later on who do it every day, and to be, again, fair with you, somebody else could have dug this trench with a backhoe way faster and better than Papa could have, and we could have, but a lot of times they're doing those things every day, so we aren't, so we're learning as we go, or we're, so I'm putting glue on this, and I'm putting the T on there. So I'm going to dig the end of this in just a bit better. So I'll go get my shovel and do that. But I've got one more step to do. I'll pause it and go. I can go ahead and do it. Well, no, I'll wait. Papa suggested, because we're going to end up moving it further, that I dig the hole a bit deeper, because that way when we dig it, we go on, and so then all we got to do is just put a coupling on it and go on that way. I want it to be about this level right here. Do you see that the top of the bucket is about level with the ground? So I need to cut it right here where it says schedule 40. It says schedule 40 right here. So I've got my cutting tool. I'm not trying to get this done. I'm not going to get it all covered up today. I'm going to get this done, but I'm not going to get it all covered up today. So I can turn the water on and show you that it works. Got my cutting tool here. Takes a little bit of wrist strength. There you go. I got my my cleaner and my glue here. And me. Me's over there. Okay, so I'm cleaning it. It's really simple process when you clean it. When it does that, you can see that that barcode, that ink on there is starting to fade off. So that's one reason, that's one way you can see that you're doing it right. So just cleaning it, and then I'm gonna clean the inside of this one right here. I'm gonna dip it in there again. I think this is just acetone is all it is. If you know if it's something else, then you can let me know down in the comments below. And got my glue here. And then I'm just gonna stick it in here, and I twist it. You twist it on whenever you put it on. And it sticks pretty fast. So before I put it down here on this, I'm gonna go ahead and put this pipe tape on there. Looks like somebody. So this has some threads on there. I don't know if you can see very well. I'm not really super close, but it's got some threads on there. And you want the threads to go along with, or the pipe tape to go along with the threads. Now, if you've got something that's got a gasket in it, you don't need pipe tape. So it's going along with the threads, and that's gonna help keep it sealed. And what I've got is a boiler valve. It's a 1/4 turn boiler valve, and this will be in a bucket in the ground. I'm not gonna be able to get all the dirt in here in the bucket the way I want to today, because I started a little late this afternoon. But what I'll do is it'll be low enough that in the wintertime it won't freeze, and I can go ahead and use it in the wintertime. And we're gonna do it all the way across this field. So every 100 feet or so, we're gonna put a bucket in the ground, so that way a hose will reach from either direction when we wanna feed or when we wanna water in the wintertime. And that way we only have to use one hose and then let all the moisture or the water out of it right after the fact. So I've got my acetone here again, my cleaner. And I'm gonna bend down here and I'm gonna get it down on the ground on the ST down here too.
Key? What a key.
I'm getting my glue in there. And I've got it done. So at the end, I've got a cap, and I've got the valve down here. I've got both of these. This ball valve right here is closed. I've got the valve down at the end for all of this water that's going this direction. Again, it's going to go all the way over to the other side of the field, maybe to our building that we're going to get built over there eventually. Right now, what I've got to do is I might go ahead and put some of this dirt back in here, but I'm going to test this first. I want to end this video so that you can see what we did and how it worked. This one's already got the bucket on there. And what'll happen is it'll come up like this, and that's level of the ground, and you reach in there and it'll keep it from freezing. You reach in there and turn it on, there'll be dirt underneath that, and it'll keep it from freezing, and you can do what you need to do there. And here's the valve. Let's turn it on. Okay, the valve's on. Looks like it works. Hear that air in there? Works just fine. We got it all done. It really isn't that hard to do. The trenching was a longer process really, and I hemmed and hawed a little bit about how I was going to do this and what I was going to do here. But I'm going to start pushing some of this soil back in here. If you like things like this, like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell and select all so you never miss a notification. We have a live stream every Sunday night at 8 p.m. Central Time. Please come back again this Sunday night and come back again tomorrow. We will have another video for you then. Thanks.